Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is a Sunday All Dodgers podcast. What's going on, Clinton Nation? Happy Sunday to you. It has been a while. Felt like it's been quite a long time. Was not live on Thursday. Will not be live here tomorrow night, most likely, because we're going to get it all crammed into here today. Things have happened. The Dodgers have been busy this week, and Teoscar Hernandez officially signed, officially reintroduced at Dodger Stadium, and the big one, Hyeseong Kim. Dodgers add KBO. I don't know if you call him a superstar, but he's as close as you can get to a superstar when you're not a big leaguer. So we're going to talk about the Kim edition. Cartaya designated for assignment. Again, what a weekend for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We're going to talk about all of that on another edition of All Dodgers Live, but we're going to bring in my man, that is producer Kevin at Skinner7. Kevin on the ones and sixes, or really just on, Twitter. But Kevin, how you doing, man? Happy Sunday to you, my friend, wherever you may be. In the kitchen?
Yeah, good. Yeah, in the kitchen. Came back from food tasting for the wedding. It was a good time. Excited.
We got to shout out.
Talk some Dodgers and all that.
Guys, sound off in the chat. Let us know where you're representing your Dodgers fandom on this Sunday. Football Sunday, one of the last few before playoff time. Wearing my Birds hat. We're feeling good. Plus, I left my usual Dodgers hat out in the living room, and I didn't want to wear any of these. This one just felt right. But yeah, let's see. The chat's going wild. Chat's going off. People are here. People are sounding off. People got to be excited. It's an exciting time. Once again, it's an exciting time to be a fan of this team right now because the Dodgers just keep on making moves, and in the case of this Kim deal, if we're talking about something being from out of nowhere, this was every bit of an out of nowhere kind of deal. We want to just dive into Hyeseong Kim right now.
Yeah,
the biggest story.
The way you put it, the best. It just from out of nowhere. I was actually texting one of my Padres fans, and he was mentioning that Hyeseong Kim was rumored for the Padres and I think the Mariners or something like that. And then I went to bed and I woke up and he signed with the Dodgers, and I texted. I was like, so about that signing.
Yeah, exactly. Dodgers swoop in late, every bit of an out of nowhere deal, because there were some murmurs, some rumors, some expectations that the team or that Kim might not be signed during this posting window. He was signed or posted by the Kiwoom Heroes about a month ago, a little over a month ago, but you really hadn't heard much about his market. There wasn't a lot of, pomp and circumstance on MLB trade rumors or anything about him. Some people talking about it, not really much. And then Dodgers are out there, come to Dodger Stadium. Teoscar Hernandez is back. We're talking to Teo about re-signing, 3-year deal, $66 million. And oh, by the way, Andrew Friedman wasn't there because he's on vacation, but he's making a move to land, Hyeseong Kim, and was a 3-year, $12.5 million deal. Dodgers have presumably, I think it's a team option that would add the 4th and 5th years at $9 million or something like that. Grand total would be upwards of 22. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's $10 million total for those final 2 years. So,
and there's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things to like about this deal for the team. We'll get into what it brings, what the player brings to the table, on the roster as a position player and all that kind of stuff. But for the team, this is just another great move for the Dodgers. They can option him to the minor leagues. They could kind of, if he's not ready for prime time on opening day, they don't need to go that route. But also, if he's as good as the numbers say he was in KBO, which that doesn't always translate as well these days, we'll talk about that. They've given themselves just, I think Brandon Gomes said, they're just trying to add a lot of talented players, and that is exactly what they did here.
Yeah, I mean, for the money, I liked the contract to begin with. It was super low value, paying for upside, which we know the Dodgers love doing. And then that tidbit came out where he can't refuse to be optioned. Yeah. And I started looking at him as a prospect as opposed to a major league guy. Mm-hmm. And I love the contract even more because he doesn't have to start. He doesn't have to break camp with the club. He could just start in AAA and they could just see what they've got with him for, a little more than the league minimum. Basically, they're paying him next to nothing. So yeah, why not? Why not take a flyer on him? He profiles, bat to ball, not a lot of pop, good defense, specifically at second base. So good base running, very fast.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. He's got speed. He's got the glove. Adds another lefty bat to the mix. Infielder, can play some outfield. The contact is there. The on base is there. It's something where we've talked a little bit this offseason while you were one of the prime people saying, hey, Mookie Betts should be the shortstop. And I laughed vigorously in your face about the idea. And then the team was like, no, we're going to do that. The problem is they had to put Mookie Betts at shortstop because shortstop depth for the Los Angeles Dodgers is pretty shit. If you're looking, really now, if you're looking 2 years from now, 5 years from now, there is not a lot of can't miss options out there. And if Hyeseong Kim can be a league average bat, could be the next Hyeseong Kim, after he figured it out. Dodgers, again, they made themselves a hell of a move right here. Let's get into some of the chat here. Jenny Vega saying two things. One, hit the like button, and also great signing, guys. Hit the like button. Do subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. We're trying to get to 9,000 subscribers. We're super close to that one. So we'd appreciate it if you could. IB Strokin is tapping in from beautiful Papua New Guinea. Is that on vacay? Is what I'm hearing from IB Strokin. It's impressive stuff. Alfonso.
Different than Mama New Guinea.
I get it. I don't know if it's Papua. I don't know. I'm not a cultured person.
Papua New Guinea.
Alfonso from Culver City, appreciate you. Richie's in the chat. Diana's in the chat. Denny Cortez in the chat. Noah in the chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. BC in the chat asking, why is that bum Taylor not been DFA'd yet? We'll talk about Chris Taylor, of course, on this show. That's what we do. But I should, before we get too deep in the show, tell you guys about Bet Online, because Bet Online continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games as they're happening. So that's kind of cool. They have the largest selection of odds on the football, on the NBA, college football, basketball, NHL, UFC. It's all there. Head to Bet Online today. Don't forget to use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, and you get a welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's pretty dang cool. Bet Online, the game starts here, and we get back into some Kim talk. I said it. I want to dive into this more. It's huge for the Dodgers, and it's also huge in that they continue winning headlines and pissing off the haters who don't want the Dodgers to be happy, to win. Just talk about that for a little bit, like seeing once again people saying the Dodgers are ruining baseball because they added another player. I mean, I want to know how people feel if and when they land Roki Sasaki. Like, how bad how bad will that actually maybe ruin baseball for a lot of people, because all of the players are going to LA.
Yeah. Social media might go thermonuclear that day. Jeff Passan might want to turn off his comments for a little bit, or he might be responding to a few too many. Although some of Jeff's best tweets are responding to people who say just absolute asinine things. I mean, it's great for the Dodgers. Everybody can say they're ruining baseball. Anybody could have signed this guy for this money.
Exactly.
There was initially a rumor that the Angels were in on him for more, but I think that got debunked fairly quickly by a Korean reporter. There's a piece where the Dodgers have the ability to sign him because he doesn't bring a whole lot with the bat. Like, let's not get it twisted. If this guy's a league average bat, that's a success.
Yeah.
He's very much a defense first guy. We're asking the Dodgers to somehow unlock him to make him a league average bat, which is going to be difficult. Now, the Dodgers can do that because the roster is already so stacked. But if, let's say, he were to go to the Mariners to play second base, the Mariners don't get a lot of value out of it because they need more offense.
Yeah,
they need actual guys who can hit, and especially in the first year, I don't expect him to do much of anything. So, this is a long-term signing. It's not a short-term thing. He's not going to show up and, I guarantee you it's very long odds for him to win NL Rookie of the Year. And with the Dodgers, it's more of kudos to them for building a roster that can welcome someone like him in, and he doesn't need to be a prominent player. He can just be a role player, or more likely a minor league player for a decent part of his first season.
Yeah, exactly. It's about just making the team better on the fringes. Maybe it works out. Maybe he's somebody who the numbers we see in the KBO, there's something close, very, very highly unlikely that they are something close to what we see, his baseball reference saying he's a, career 304 hitter. He's hitting around like 320 over the last 3 years, good on base or whatever. But, recent KBO transitions, you look at those, it hasn't worked out all that well. Hyeseong Kim took a decent amount of time before he figured out how to hit major league pitching.
He's had like 1.5, mostly 3/4 of a good season.
Exactly.
But you could argue 1.5 good seasons.
But the glove makes up for it, and again, the Padres have enough offense, like you're saying, where they are able to get around that. The Dodgers have enough offense where they can kind of have a dude. You can add somebody who is a potentially elite glove to hit in the 8 spot, hit in the 9 spot, and if you do get some bat, if you do get maybe a 340 on base, you're like, fuck yeah, this is a really good move right here because of just what he brings to the team glove wise. For all intents and purposes, this is likely Miguel Rojas's last season with the Dodgers. So there's your next Miggy Rowe in waiting, and just in terms of glove, not necessarily what he brings to the to the team, vibes wise and leadership wise and all of that kind of stuff. There's a lot to get into. I'm seeing some people, Ken Warm, asking about the Yankees trying to land Gavin Lux. We're gonna get there. I promise we're gonna get there. Trust me. If I get a chance to talk about Gavin Lux being traded, I'm going to talk about Gavin Lux potentially being traded. Our friend Dodgers Daily, our friend Casey Porter in the chat. He just wrapped up a show a little while ago here on the YouTube. Him and I are talking about trying to get some collaboration going this week or sometime soon. So hopefully stay tuned for that. Subscribe for whenever that happens, and always subscribe to Dodgers Daily. I love what him and contributor Austin Brubaker do over there at Dodgers Daily. Great stuff, and they get you interviews there that you don't see with a lot of people. They get you some nitty gritty with the minor leagues and a lot of nitty gritty with the big league stuff. So great stuff with Casey and the gang over at Dodgers Daily. What else did I see? But yeah, I don't want to get into Lux yet. I'm not ready to get into Lux yet. Let's continue this because that is the big question. It's sort of a series of questions. Is where will Hyeseong Kim play for the Dodgers? Because people are going to look at, he was playing second base, he should play second base, and they have Gavin Lux there. Well, they don't like Gavin Lux or Chris Taylor or whatever. He's also played some shortstop. He's won a Golden Glove in the KBO at both of those positions. The other part of the questions, is he going to be part of that opening day roster plan? Like you were saying, most likely not, because that contract says they don't need to have him on the big league roster. Is he going to start the season at AAA to get acclimated to the States, especially with a shortened spring training the Dodgers are going to have once again before they head off to Tokyo for opening day against the Cubs. David Vassay talked about it on the radio machine, saying, he expects that the Dodgers are going to play him all over the field, not just kind of shoehorn him at second base. So obviously we could say he's a middle infield type of spot. That's where Kim could play some second, could play some third, maybe even move over, play a little third, some left field. We've seen some highlights there already. If you guys are looking at the highlights on Twitter and social media and YouTube, the kid can play everywhere. The glove will translate, but the best spots and the best future might be like a shortstop, second base. The bat needs to be there. I'll say this, between the two guys slated to play the infield right now, heading into 2025, we know Mookie Betts is one of the guys. We know Gavin Lux is one of those guys. Mookie Betts isn't in danger of losing his job or his roster spot. Gavin Lux could be one of those guys. So we'll say this. We like the addition. It's not necessarily a win now move, but it's just let's add as much talent as we can, which is what the Dodgers do best. That's what they do best. Yeah. Anything to add to that?
No, it's absolutely what they do best. The way I look at this signing, I think it was Don Kim asked how many at-bats does he realistically get? Man, if he gets 300 at-bats, 350 at-bats, that's a lot of playing time. That's more than I would anticipate. I'm looking at him as basically a Nick Ahmed break glass in case of emergency. Like when that July 10th roster or whatever, like right before the All-Star break rolls out and you're like, who's on this roster? That's where I expect Kim to show up, as opposed to, you know, going out, getting Nick Ahmed or getting Ahmed Rosario. Gavin Biggio, son of Hall of Famer Craig Biggio, or, you know, getting Ahmed Rosario just to trade him away again, or DFA him, or whatever the hell they did this last time around. I think Kim fills that role for this team more than he does your everyday second baseman. I think at best he's a platoon second baseman, potentially with Miguel Rojas, because like we talked about, he does bats left-handed. So Richie Flores, $9.99. Padre fans losing their minds over Kim. These mofos didn't even know who he was. I say F it, sign them all. If we get Roki, they'll need therapy for years. F the Dodger Stadium parking lot. Thank you for keeping it PG, Richie. I think that's PG.
That's PG adjacent. Diane says, hell yeah, Richard Flores, and I agree with that. And if Diane's in the chat, I better tell you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because she was probably about to tell you to do that either way. But yeah, let's get to I don't know if you want to call it an elephant in the room, but it's multifaceted. Are the Dodgers done? That's always going to be the easiest question, and the answer to that is no, they're not done. They still have a lot of 40-man roster issues. They have a 26-man roster crunch, to be honest. So there's a Gavin Lux factor, there's a Chris Taylor factor, but there's also the factor that they designated for assignment somebody who was their top prospect just a season and a half ago to make this happen. And this is what we've been talking about for probably the last year, the roster crunch. It's now very, very real, this roster crunch. And if it was spring training, if you could, utilize the 60-day injured list, it would not be an issue at all, because they have 5 dudes they can throw on there the second they need roster spots. They can do that. But Diego Cartaya, one of the top, heralded catching prospects in Major League Baseball, was DFA'd to make room for Kim, because you have to make that deal official before the end of that posting window. Shocked? Yes. Surprised? No, because you're looking at what they had on the 40-man. It's like there's nothing they're going to dump. And you have multiple catchers there. If it wasn't going to be Cartaya, it was going to be Fiducia, but Fiducia has made a major league appearance. I think they feel a little bit better about him, and they know somewhere down the road, Dalton Rushing is going to be ready and could be somebody who can catch and could also add some versatility, which is something we didn't use the word enough. Kim bringing the versatility to the table, something the Dodgers love, something Gavin Lux doesn't bring, but we'll get there. Don't hold on to prospects. Dodgers held on to Diego Cartaya too long, and they're getting nothing for him. Maybe he could pass through. I doubt it. But how shocked were you? How floored are you to see Diego Cartaya DFA'd by the Los Angeles Dodgers?
I was shocked, for sure. We knew his time with the organization was limited. His days were numbered, for sure. They signed Will Smith to the 10-year deal, and immediately I think the next day people were like, okay, how much longer is Diego Cartaya going to be around for? How much longer Hunter Fiducia going to be around for? Because their timelines just don't match up with Will Smith. Dalton Rushing's does. I am shocked that they DFA'd him as opposed to finding any trade partner for him, because he struggled mightily at AA and AAA. He season and a half, 2 seasons ago at high A, he was absolutely raking, and then he moved up to the upper echelons of the minor leagues, and he hasn't performed as well. He hasn't been able to bring that bat with him, but he's only 23 years old. We talk about prospects losing value. They traded Michael Busch because I think he was 26 when they traded him. James Outman's, I believe, 27.
Something like 27. That.
Yeah. Cartaya is only 23. He's got plenty of time. The only problem was he had to be on the 40-man roster because they drafted him when he was 19. So I think they have 4-ish days to trade him. Otherwise, he clears. I can't imagine he clears. I imagine somebody's going to want to give up or at least offer up a low-level prospect just to kind of
secure him.
To secure him. Even if the Padres do it, that's something that they desperately need catching.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously worked well for the Dodgers last time with Matt Beatty. Thank you. But it's it's something where there's got to be an org out there who wants some level of catching, because I mean, 23 years old, shows serious promise. It's just he was completely blocked.
Yeah, and he's had, different health issues, back issues that kind of limited him. But I've talked to Casey Porter actually about this at times. You get exposed when you get out of AAA, when you get out of Single A, when you're out of Rancho, when you move up to Tulsa, it's a different ball game. These pitchers are for real. You can't just run into homers or hits or walks or whatever. They know where they're throwing the ball, and I think that combined with the health issues, the back, it just kind of, hopefully he can figure something out. Hopefully he lands somewhere that they can unlock something or get something to resurface for his career, because he did show promise, but I saw somebody in the chat saying you should have traded him 2 years ago. It's probably the time to trade him a couple of years ago, and that they missed their chance.
That's something that's frustrating. Freeman's kind of been known to hold on to prospects. That's why we got what we believed at the time to be so little back from Michael Busch, is because everybody knew the Dodgers had to trade him. So they got Jackson Fairbanks. I mean, granted, so far so good. We're liking what we're seeing from them, again, still in the minor leagues. But the Cartaya one blows me away, because even 2 years ago we knew Will Smith was going to be the catcher. Like, they didn't just extend him out of nowhere. They bought out, I think his last year of ARB or something like that. They extended him before he was ever going to reach free agency. So to kind of see how it played out is kind of frustrating, considering we already knew what we had in Will Smith. And then even the year that Cartaya was good, that was the year they drafted rushing, and everyone was like,
I mean, maybe they were telling us then they weren't bought in. That might have been what they were doing then.
I don't know. I definitely think they should have at least shopped him, knowing what they had. And then they got Tyron Liranzo, and he just the whole management of Cartaya it doesn't look good for the front office. Now this is a situation where if they get anything for him, just be grateful, because at this point, this reminds me of when the Raiders traded center Rodney Hudson to the Cardinals, when they were going to release. They announced they released him, and then it came out, oh wait, we traded him to the Cardinals for a 4th round pick, and I was like, oh my god, the general manager's a genius. He somehow got draft picks for a guy he just let go. That's kind of how this is going to feel. If they somehow get anything for Cartaya, I'll be happy.
Yeah, again, it's tough. At the same time, you could be like, we don't have this feeling very often as Dodgers fans. There really haven't been a lot of straight up misses for a while. Even Lux with his struggles at times, he's also proven that when healthy, when he's in a good mindset, he's a very, very good player. James Outman kind of did some things, but he was more pressed into duty and kind of played his way into duty rather than earned it, we'll say. But
he earned it. He did well in spring training. He was a glove first guy. The upside was there. It's just what we thought of him as a prospect just came to fruition. He's the glove first guy.
He's a glove first, and he's got a rock. So again, all of that, Cartaya DFA'd for Kim. We don't know what his future is going to look like. If he's going to be, on the opening day roster, he would have to play his way past Gavin Lux, or the Dodgers would need to trade Gavin Lux. So guys, it's finally Gavin Lux talk time.
Everyone's favorite segment.
Should Gavin Lux honestly be keeping one eye open in the middle of the night right now, or should he keep the ringer on, being notified of that trade whenever it's coming? Because we're hearing there are increasingly loudening rumors, which is one way to say it, that teams have inquired on Gavin Lux. They've called the Dodgers asking. The Yankees are one of those teams. The Seattle Mariners. Now we don't know if they're the ones calling or the Dodgers are the one calling, trying to shop Lux. But when I'm looking at Hyeseong Kim versus Gavin Lux, and I'll go back to what a word I wanted to make sure I got in there because I was setting up for this, the versatility. Gavin Lux has no versatility. He's a second baseman, and if you're going to be a Los Angeles Dodger, I don't know why I keep saying that. If you're going to be a Dodger, you can't play one position. You can't just
we know where they are. We know what city they're in.
Exactly. That's kind of part of it. Listen, they pay. I get paid more when I say the full name or whatever. It's a word count thing, but
Yeah.
there's going to be spring training competition at least. But at this point, I don't know if I'd be more shocked if Lux was still on the team, still a Los Angeles Dodger come spring training, or if I'd be more shocked if he was traded. I think they are like not increasing. They are they're actively shopping people like Lux, people like James Outman. Bring him into the equation. Cartaya was in that conversation as well because they need roster space. They need space bad. They need space like I need probably water because I had a lot of alcohol this weekend on the mountain. But Lux, what you buying any of the Yankees Mariners rumors? What do you think of all of this BS?
So I think there's definitely been conversations as I figure out how to speak there because we already.
I'm not helping you. It's all good.
That's fair. We already knew that they were interested in trading him because they had a deal with him involved to send him to Milwaukee for Devin Williams.
About the Milwaukee. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
No, we already knew that they were interested, or I don't know about interested, but they were willing to trade him before the Yankees came in with apparently a better offer, which, that's the Brewers scouting department, not mine. So we know they're interested. The Mariners need a second baseman. They need a bat. That wouldn't surprise me. The Yankees, that would surprise me because from what I remember, they've said they were going to move Jazz back to second. And that would mean I don't know where they put Lux because he can only play second base.
Well, I think the plan was to move him back to second if they landed a 3B like Bregman or something like that. Wasn't that kind of what some of the rumors were saying?
Maybe I'm not super plugged into the Yankees, but I heard that Cashman said they're going to move Jazz back to second. Either way, maybe I wouldn't be surprised if the Mariners or the Yankees checked in for Lux. I don't think the Dodgers are actively trading him. Like I don't think they're calling teams going, "Hey, what would you give us?" I think what it is they're interested in players and they're letting teams know, "Hey, we like this guy. Could we build a package around Lux?" Which would make more sense to me. The Dodgers very, very rarely, like the Michael Busch one was like the only one I can remember, are like actively shopping a player.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out DM24 in the chat said Yankees don't know what they're doing and always appreciate other team slander in here. I would say that, yeah, they're passively shopping Gavin Lux. This is probably the highest value he's going to have at this point forward in a Dodger uniform. He's got 2 seasons left of team control. He's still relatively cheap. He put together a good second half in 2024. You saw when he's at his best. And the brain, he's healthy. He's got over all of the mental hurdles of the knee injury and surgery and recovery. Yeah, he can play a pretty mean game of baseball or whatever. But also he can only kind of hit right-handed pitching. He's very limited, and where we're at, where the team is at, where the organization is at this point in time in the Shohei Ohtani era, you don't just need that kind of guy. You don't want to have Lux be your guy, and again the limitations and the bat being nothing being exceptional. He doesn't have an exceptional bat. He's not an exceptional glove. He's a very good ball player, but he's not getting you the absolute best 26 dudes on the active roster. You're trying to find a way to make that happen. Maybe it is somebody like Kim on there. I think Lux, I keep Lux over like a Chris Taylor maybe, but Taylor adds versatility. But I don't know if he adds a bat.
With the bat, Gavin Lux is probably going to be better than Kim with the bat. I've seen a couple chats, could we trade Lux for Randy Arozarena from the Mariners? If the Mariners swing a trade for Lux, they're going to send pitching. They're not going to send offense. The Mariners, they need to learn how to hit their way out of wet paper bags. So they'll send one of their many, many, many pitchers. Luis Castillo. I don't think Kirby is an option, but they'd send a pitcher. But I think, to your point, it's Gavin, if we're ranking these guys offensively, I think Gavin's the best of the three among him, Kim, and CT3. The difference is Kim brings some, we've talked about, real positional versatility. Jeff Spiegel over on
Dodger Blue
DB has a great interview with a Korean scout, and I can't remember his name. I'm not going to try. He was mentioning that Kim's even played some corner outfield and done decently there. That's real positional versatility. Whereas, as you mentioned, a lot. Man, we've seen Gavin try left, and it was not pretty at all. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So
you still see the tape outline out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was so funny. Oh, I missed that team. But yeah, it's something where Kim at least brings the positional versatility, and Gavin doesn't have a lot of pop either. So, there's more upside with Kim, I think, at this point than Gavin Lux.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a glove first kind of dude, understanding what that role would be if it's a second baseman, or if let's say Kim is the shortstop because he can actually play the position, and that means Mookie can play second base where he honestly belongs. Sorry. I go that route. In my opinion, the best case version of all of this, best case scenario, is Hyeseong Kim ending up at shortstop, Mookie being that second baseman,
not a good shortstop.
Lux going somewhere where he can play. You don't think Kim's a good shortstop?
All the metrics, he had a bad, I think it was 21 was where they tried him at shortstop, and it was not good. He did not.
I thought, didn't he win a freaking Golden Glove there at shortstop, or was it not there?
No, that was at second base, and Jeff made this clarification.
Okay.
The Golden Glove in Korea isn't a defensive metric. It's an all-around metric.
Mm-hmm.
It's more kind of making the all MLB team, I think, is a closer comparison. They did create a defensive one.
Gotcha.
And he won that at second base. But yeah, if I'm looking at his shortstop metrics, he had a 943 fielding percentage at shortstop.
Well, I mean, if you can throw a baseball,
if you can throw a baseball, sure, but that's not good enough. You gotta be a little better than that. And his range is good. I think it was throwing errors.
Well, then we got Mookie, so we're good.
We got Mookie, so
yeah. I mean, I guess that tracks, because you wouldn't move him off of shortstop if he was great at it.
Yeah, exactly. So they moved him to second base, which is where, much like Gavin, all I'm hearing is basically Hyeseong Kim is Gavin Lux. They're just retrying it. They're just setting the clock back a few years.
Gavin Lux with more team control, I guess. Yeah, there it is.
Cheaper, way cheaper. Yeah, exactly. It speaks Korean too. Wow. Look at the versatility.
Manny 5 Dodge is very worried that they're going to trade Lux, CT, and James Outman. He's also being
DFA Outman.
He's also being very sarcastic about it, but I appreciate the fun in the chat going on here. Speederbilt, Steve saying it's like a Soto Gold Glove for Hyeseong Kim, and all right, I get it now. So thank you, people in the chat, correcting that or enlightening us, or helping to enlighten the chat about that. But even so, I still think best case scenario is Mookie Betts at second base. In the long term, they just don't have the tools right now, so he's going to be the shortstop for now or whatever.
Bit. Yeah, I mean they have a couple kids that Kendall George, they drafted a kid last year in the first round as another shortstop, so maybe in a couple years they hit on something. But I mean, outside of Siegs, they haven't hit on a shortstop in a while.
And then they have the other kid, Alex Friedland. He's getting a little older, but he can play shortstop. I think decently at AAA. I haven't seen enough of him. If you want to know more about him, go check out Dodgers Daily, of course, everybody. But I am going to talk to Casey about that at some point, hopefully this week. Going back a little bit, so we're talking all this Lux, and we're talking about Diego Cartaya, DFA. It comes down to, again, them needing to kind of still work on roster space, because at some point too, we all would love to see Kike Hernandez come back. And now it's time for the Kike Hernandez part of the show. It's does the Kim signing affect Kike Hernandez's potential eventual return, getting both the Hernandi back on the Dodgers roster? Because we haven't really heard or seen anything on Kike. Some group of these 27th, 28th men on the active roster that are on the 40-man roster. Like 1 or 2 or 3 of those dudes, mainly being the names we're talking about, probably Outman, CT3. Like, some people need to be moved. That's the point. That's the point the Dodgers are at right now. And hearing what we're hearing about Lux, they were trying that with Diego Cartaya. They know they're trying to create space. They want Kike back, and he's, I take him over Chris Taylor. I think everybody in the world and everybody in this chat do that as well. I take Kike over Lux. I probably take Kike over Kim. So to the question, do you think this Kim deal affects Kike Hernandez returning?
No, I'm very stout or staunch in my stance that there is an under the table hand agreement between him and Friedman. Yeah, where Friedman said, "Hey, it's not going to happen immediately. Let us get a couple things done first, but we'll get you your contract. We'll get you your money. Just sit tight." I think, Kike did this last year. The Dodgers came in after Kike gave them not an ultimatum, but a deadline, and the Dodgers made the requisite move. I forget what the trade was to bring Kike aboard.
Move,
the Margot trade. Thank you. I think, Victor, we didn't even use the kitchen today. Stop talking about the kitchen. It's clean. Anyway, I think they went through that process already. Friedman and company know what Kike is expecting, and they're just avoiding it at all costs. I don't think it would take a real wrench thrown into the system for Kike not to be back. I'm talking like a player that we didn't even think was available all of a sudden becomes available, and it's just like, sorry, Kike is just too good to pass on. We're bringing him in instead. I don't even know who that could be off the top of my head. I mean, there's a million players out there, but but it would take something like that, I believe, for Kike to not be in Dodger blue next year.
Yeah, no, I mean that's fair. I think they realize how both sides realize how important they are to each other, and they don't want to go it alone again. Just keep them together, keep the gang together. You heard Teo in his presser saying, like, I always wanted to be here, killed all of his leverage. He could have got more money elsewhere, but he likes what the Dodgers did to him, how they made him feel as a player, and I think Kike understands that and understands that there is nowhere better, and we've talked about this already, a decent amount this offseason, nowhere better that's going to set you up for a title run than the Dodgers right now. I could even say than the Los Angeles Dodgers right now. You can get another ring, make it 3 for Kike. Got a $1.99 super chat from our guy Richard Flores. His 2 words for Outman and CT3: pizza delivery. Ouch.
No, Ortega says the kitchen is Kevin's Batcave. I'm gonna move for a vote so we start calling it the Batcave.
Yeah, I'm noticing people are having more and more issues with the kitchen thing. Look, we're bringing you free content. People are like, again, this show, we have no big time financial backing. This is me in a room that I dedicated to this in my house. I pulled this guy in to do this show when he had a microphone.
I'm a man of the people.
Man of the people.
Man of the people. Kevin, you asked $5. Let's clean that metaphorical kitchen. No more scrubs. Hey, if I'm a scrub in a kitchen, then just cleaning dishes.
Jenny Vegas says Kike is worth $700 million. So I'm going to say no. I got a solid no. Most of it deferred to never be paid.
You know what? There's no such thing as a bad 1-year contract.
Yeah, I do wonder if he would ask multi-years from the Dodgers, or if he could just be on the Kershaw deal. The Kershaw plan. Every year we're gonna go through it.
How old is Kike now?
It's 33, something like that.
Oh my
I don't know. They're all getting older, man.
BREF needs to allow me to type Kike Hernandez and not Enrique. He's 33. Okay. Yeah, he might be on that Clayton Kershaw train pretty soon here. I don't know. He's got a daughter. I think. I think there are more teams that are out of the conversation at this point than ends. Like a Corbin Burns situation.
Yeah,
he plays in Arizona. He's close, so
could be a thing. Yeah, I mean, he's got property here. He's a happy boy in LA.
He hit in October. I mean, they could do something where it's like, hey man, you know what? Just rest up. We'll talk to you after the All-Star break. Just keep your bat warm.
Also, so Victor bringing up, and I saw other people bringing up Max Muncy in the chat as well. This is Max's last year under contract. He does have an extremely team-friendly option for 2026. He will be around for both of those years, but at some point you do need to start looking at the starting third baseman era beyond Max Muncy. Is it going to be a Kike type of dude?
It's Munetaka Murakami.
We're just signing.
I already figured it out.
It's Team Asia, huh?
We're just bringing all the MVP guys over here.
The Los Angeles Samurai, if you will. Hepatitis See You Later wants to see Lance Lynn back on the mound. Says, look through his beard for Cheetos on the mound. Wait, listen, he lost weight, he told the boys at Foul Territory.
Good for him. Maybe if he was trying to play third base, it would matter.
I mentioned Teo. So, that's the Kike talk. We know Kike is coming back at some point. It's just about figuring it out. The best thing is, the first thing is you need to create space for him. But I mentioned Teoscar Hernandez because, again, his I don't know if his parade was rained on, but his day was kind of usurped by the Hyeseong Kim news because that happened like during his presser.
They asked Gomer about it. They're like, "Hey,
by the way,
can we ask you about this?" They announced that they made it, or no, they didn't announce the move. It was it was basically everything except for the Diego Cartaya DFA. And so for anybody who hasn't watched it, somebody asked Gomes I don't know if you could talk about this, but is there any movement about the plan? The question was, is the plan still for Lux to play shortstop and Lux to play second and Mookie to play shortstop, given the recent I think activity was the term they used. He's like, yes, that is still the plan moving forward.
Man 5 Dodge saying that's kind of mean to do to Teo. Look, man, I appreciate the Dodgers never sleeping. We saw this when they signed when they made Shohei Ohtani official. The end of that, the Tyler Glasnow trade happened and all hell broke loose. And it happened a little bit later, not literally during the presser. It happened, probably 5 minutes after the presser that happened. I was here on the channel live talking to Tim Rogers, who was out there being our boots on the ground at Dodger Stadium. And we're like, oh shit, fucking Tyler Glasnow trade is happening with, future tradee Manuel Margot coming to LA. All that aside, still a great day for Teoscar Hernandez. Very happy boy. He said all the right things in his presser. I was out of town. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. I've seen some of the clips, some of the highlights, some of the quotes. And listen, he's got the right mindset. I'm here. I'm happy with what I'm making. I'm happy to be a Dodger, and I'm happy to be trying to help this team, this organization win another World Series. That's what you want out of Teoscar Hernandez. That's what you want out of anybody that's coming to your team when you're the Dodgers in this era. They are full-blown set to win. Win now, win next year, win for the next 9 years, because that's what Shohei says he wants to do. And what Shohei wants, Shohei gets. But any big takeaways from the Teoscar presser outside of it being derailed by Hyeseong Kim?
Yeah, before I get to takeaways, it's just, I don't know if he needed one. We joked around about Jock getting a presser. This felt very much like that. It's like, I don't know if Teo needed another one, but okay, whatever. He gets one. The big takeaways for me, he mentioned it wasn't about the money. He said $5 or $6 million less to stay with the Dodgers. Love that for the team. He talks a lot about how the Dodgers treat his family well. It's not just about him. It's how they treat him, his family, and those close to him. Again, Dodgers are just a grade A organization. And the other thing that kind of stuck out to me was he already said no one cares what we did last year. A lot of the guys shared that same mentality. We know if we're healthy, we can do something special next year, and that is all that matters. And I love that mentality right now in January. He got his ring. It's over. It's done with. Let's get to 2025. And again, that's just why you get guys like Teoscar who want to rise to the occasion. It's because they don't care what happened before. It's like, all right, now's the time. Like, no better time than right now.
And we were talking about that, where things changed during the postseason when we were doing shows during October. There was a kind of feeling shift of they really had the Kobe mentality of like, job's not finished. And even though the job was finished, now they're like, no, job's not finished. We need to now make this a dynasty. It's making multiple. Dodgers have 2 in the 2020s, as Kike told us during the parade. You got to keep it going. You got to bring 2 or 3 more rings to LA in this time. Get Mookie his 5 that he told us he wanted at that championship parade at Dodger Stadium. So say what you can say, or say the right words as Teoscar did. I'm not saying the right words, but Teoscar said the right words, and it's the right mindset, it's the right mentality. And most of these guys, so many of the guys from this team, are coming back. We know Kike is coming back. These boys are also going to want to do it for Clayton when he is actually healthy and able to pitch in the postseason. And me just saying that is going to upset people here in the chat, because people are like, just hang it up, Clayton, retire. He could still do something. He's still got something.
He's still very effective. I know a lot of people want to crap on him, but I mean, with his shoulder falling off, he was still he lowered his career ERA. Which is absolutely insane. And he went through the first major surgery, and his foot started he had to get surgery on his foot and his knee, and he's still trying to pitch it. That's when, oh my God, he's old and he can't pitch anymore. And it's like, yeah, look how much has happened to him. But when he's right, or when he's like not even entirely right, when he's mostly right, he's still one of the best pitchers in baseball. So yeah, I'll take Clayton Edward Kershaw on the mound for the Dodgers any day of the week.
What really makes me feel like some feels, but bad ones in my soul, is seeing that Clayton Kershaw is 37. He's pitching age 37 next year, and I'm just like, no, that can't be. Can't be right.
He's still 35 to me. Hold on, is he really 37?
Can we make him?
Oh my God, yeah.
It's
30. Oh
yeah,
God.
That's soak up the Kersh, because by the time we get to regular opening day, states opening day, domestic opening day, as they call it, he's gonna be 37. We watched that kid. We watched Vinny tell us about this kid, coming up from Highland Park, Texas, and all this kind of stuff. And Dallas is what Vin said. But anyway, I want to also go back to something you said, because we talked about this just before going live. Our last show of 2024, we made fun of the Jock presser signing with the Rangers, which, Jock signing with the Rangers, 2-year deal. That does not deserve a press conference. Teo with the Dodgers, to me, deserved a press conference just because of all the month plus long of BS, almost 2 months of will they, won't they, and the headlines, and why isn't he re-signed yet? Where is his contract? How come they didn't give him a contract extension right then and there at the at the damn parade in LA? I think he deserved that opportunity just to kind of get some questions, even though they weren't going to be hard-hitting questions from media, but just have that nice reintroduction to the fans. I mean, like, listen, we love each other. Let's just keep making this love affair last. And it's like, probably at the time, Rich Hill didn't necessarily need a presser when they re-signed him after trading him the 3-year, $44 million or whatever it was. But hey, it's cool. Give him the love. Let these players, let these people feel important. And it lets people, the media, go out there and get us updates of the construction going out at the stadium and all that. But anyways, that's probably about it, guys. There's not a whole lot more to add to all of this. I'll reiterate again, and something we'll probably talk about a lot more over the next couple of weeks leading up to spring training. 40-man roster. Suddenly, not even suddenly, it was already there, but suddenly you add Hyeseong Kim, you bring back Teoscar Hernandez, some of the other guys that are coming back. Really, just a really, really good 40-man roster, but they're also a little hamstrung right now until some other moves get made, because right now might be the time we would usually see Friedman and company making some of those, like, who is this guy, or just the kind of under the radar additions that Brent Honeywell happened during the season, but he's the type of dude where they would maybe add him, a Matt Gage type of dude who helped the team a little bit, now has since signed elsewhere. Those type of moves that they don't have the opportunity to make those kind of moves right now. So I would love to see some other trades opening up some 40-man roster versatility, optionality, open some spaces so Andy can cook, so he can get the little side dishes or the really bad chocolate turtles, bring that to the party. I don't know, man. I was trying to get into an analogy.
Was this Harry Potter?
No, like actual turtles, but like you have your steak and your potatoes and whatever. It's like what else can we bring to this weird potluck? I guess that's what I don't know, man. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, God, you left part of your brain with the boys camping.
He's trying to get more shit. He likes to get more shit, but it's not good shit. It's random shit. Like Matt Gage.
My question is, what is a chocolate turtle?
It's like peanuts and like caramel and covered in chocolate. Do people not have that? Yeah. Not like an actual.
I thought that was.
No, it's not like I ate your chocolate squirrel.
No, I thought that was like an ice cream flavor.
Well, they do have that as well. Yeah, it's a turtle flavor. It's basically the same thing. Yeah, Nando 390 gets it. Chips and dip. Yeah, chips and dip, another great addition to the potluck as well. I agree with that.
I always liked the little. You get them at Ralph's, the little brownie bites,
rutabagas,
like the powdered sugar on them.
Yeah, those are solid. Also, a great 7-Eleven pickup when you're, on the way to any sort of road trip. But guys, again, that's about it. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. If you enjoy Sundays, let us know. Kevin and I have talked about doing Sundays. I kind of like the idea of Sundays leading up to the season, just because it breaks up the me doing 2 shows on Mondays and Thursdays with Dodgers territory. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on the Discord as well. I'm interested in knowing what people think about this. And if you can do more Sundays, we could, I think we could have fun with it. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the comments, the questions, hanging out in the chat. EB says that I am hungry. I'm not. I'm thirsty. I need more water. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Alana is out this week on Dodgers territory, so I will be joined by new Dodgers.com writer Sonia Chen. I don't know how to pronounce her first name, but it's Sonja. And we'll be talking about the Dodgers and all of this stuff, what's going on with Kike and so forth. And later this week, I think Thursday, our friend Scott Gearman will be joining me on the show as well. So stay tuned there. Subscribe to Dodgers Territory. Subscribe here on All Dodgers with me and that guy when he joins us, which is most of the time, which I appreciate him for doing that from the beautiful kitchen there in the greater Chicagoland area. Thank you to our channel members, our supporters on Patreon. You help us keep bringing content. I would say better content, but help us bring content. If you want to support the show beyond just hitting that subscribe button, check out patreon.com/realfrg or click the join button here on YouTube. It's $5 a month and you're helping support independent baseball Dodgers coverage here on YouTube. And you also get to join us on our Discord server where a group of Dodgers fans are talking about the team all day long. And when things happen, it's a fun and lively community, lively growing community. So check that out. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online. Shout out to our moderators for doing a kick-ass job in the chat, as they always do. Go give Kevin a follow. You see it down there. Give me a follow on all the things if you want or whatever. But that's about it. We'll see you whenever. I don't know when, but okay, bye.